From KAMR Local 4 News, your local election headquarters, this is Politics Today.
A budget shortfall, details on the Amarillo City Council's budget workshop, and the area that they may not fund all of the items that are proposed. And we'll hear from Panhandle PBS as they begin to navigate with less funding than in previous years. Good Sunday morning. Thanks for joining us on Politics Today. I'm Jack Kessler. The city's budget discussions continue after the Amarillo City Council's extended its budget workshop. With a projected shortfall in the general fund, the city council members are carefully weighing their options. Politics Today's Blas Guerrero has more details on those talks and what's to come.
Just so much, and now we've got a time deadline that we're against. And we're faced with, and I appreciate you recognizing the fact that we're in an impossible situation with this council.
The Amarillo City Council continued its workshop on the 2025 budget, diving into a $579 million plan that impacts nearly every aspect of the city. From public safety to infrastructure, council members are now focused on finding a balance between services and available revenue.
Council is in a tough spot right now with the spend that we need, with the revenue that we have to spend. So we're going to have to make some hard decisions to get through this. At the end of 3 long days. And as everyone saw, you know, it kind of ended in a little bit of a darker tone, but we'll get there together as a governing body.
With rising costs and a potential budget shortfall, the council is exploring how to prioritize funding for essential services like the fire department and police, while also planning for the city's future growth.
We've got to hold to our priorities of public safety and infrastructure, and then the health and wellness of the overall organization. So when you're saying like all employees matter, they do. And so being able to make sure that we're pushing money to the employees is important, but it's got to work within your budget.
The City Council is also considering a proposed tax rate change from the current 38 cents to 43 cents. I
am in favor of looking and seeing like where the value of that money's going and what can we do with that. So if it hits our top 2 priorities and it's what it's going to cost to run the city, then yes, I think we need to charge everything that we can charge in order to take care of business.
Another round of discussions will take place Friday as the City Council works towards finalizing the 2025-2026 budget. Mayor Stanley adds that he remains optimistic and adds they will continue working to develop a budget that supports growth and community development. The Amarillo City Council also chose a replacement board member for the Economic Development Corporation. Brian Bruckner is a former AEDC board member and served on the board for 6 years. He and his brother own Bruckner's Truck Sales, which council member Les Simpson says is the largest Mack truck dealership in the country. Simpson says his knowledge of business on the regional and national will help create stability in the organization.
I think that's what's been lacking in the last year is really stability. And when you have instability, insecurity, it creates chaos. And chaos and instability is the enemy of investment.
The board's next steps include finding a new executive director. The Amarillo City Civic Center is going to be changing some of their policies for all ticketed events going forward. According to the Civic Center, they are now require clear bags for anyone attending ticketed events. Important note is that this will only apply to events ticketed through Panhandle Tickets or the Civic Center proper. This policy will not be affecting third-party events.
See much different. Our security checkpoints are not going to change much, but what they'll see is much quicker lines. We will still do our wanding like we do now, but the bag checks will go much smoother, much quicker, and hopefully people will spend less time in line and more time enjoying the event.
This policy will take effect on September 1st of this year. To go to our website, myhighplains.com, to read more about this story and the official changes to the policy. To expand or not to expand, that's the question regarding the Potter County Jail. We learned that Sheriff Brian Thomas led commissioners on a tour of the DeVsmith County and Potter County jails so they could see the differences between them. The Commissioners Court is discussing whether to expand the existing jail or build a brand new one. At least one commissioner supports starting from scratch.
I think that the building is what we've been told. It's end of life. We're now going through that facility. I do not believe that it's something that we ought to be further considering. Although I don't know how we're going to pay for a new jail.
Officials say no matter what option they decide to take, they are about a year away from being able to take action. The Potter County Sheriff's Office is looking for participants for the 17th Annual Adult Citizens Academy. The free learning event begins on September 2nd and runs 12 weeks with meetings every Tuesday night. Organizers tell us that participants will have the opportunity to go on a ride-along with patrol deputies, shoot at the gun range, tour the jail, and even get tased, which of course is optional. The Texas Department of Public Safety has created a new Homeland Security Division. This follows the passage of Senate Bill 36, which goes into effect on September 1st. DPS says this is to modernize and enhance the security posture of the establishing a division dedicated to their homeland security efforts. DPS says this will help oversee border security operations, statewide intelligence efforts, strategic planning, critical infrastructure protection, and emergency preparedness. Our local PBS station is working on a new way to fund their work after Congress voted to cut already approved money. Hear how they'll adapt to the change, and we'll talk to other PBS stations in Texas about all working together for a common goal. Following Congress's decision to rescind $1.1 billion in funding to public media, Panhandle PBS and High Plains Public Radio are going over their budgets and finding solutions on how to continue serving the High Plains. Politics Today's Maya Clark has details on the plans moving forward.
Panhandle PBS is losing a third of their funding following Congress's vote to defund public broadcasting. General Manager Julie Grimes says the rest of their funding is from Amarillo College as well as local businesses, charities, and viewers.
We're going to be reaching out to the community and asking the community to take a little more ownership in their station. Panhandle PBS is the Panhandle station, so we're going to be asking people to help us continue to meet our mission.
Following the vote, High Plains Public Radio Executive Director Quentin Hope made a blog post sharing the decision means they'll lose about $220,000 in operation funds, but says in the coming months they'll assess operating expenses and the services they support to identify ways to cut cost. Grimes shared although the rescission is a hit to their budget, they have about 2 years to make up the difference.
We still have some funds left over from fiscal year 25 that we can carry over into next year that is going to, really help us operate from a position of strength. It's going to allow us to continue to do all of our services and deliver all of our content, tell all the stories for about the next year.
Following the announcement to defund the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, CPB President and CEO Patricia Harrison said, in part, quote, despite extraordinary efforts of millions of Americans who called, wrote, and petitioned Congress to preserve federal funding for CPB, we now face the difficult reality of closing our operations. Congressman Ronnie Jackson posted to Facebook celebrating, writing, quote, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting is dead. They couldn't survive without your taxpayer money. Another useless left-wing project is over. This is what happens when we put America first. Not tired of winning.
Grimes says down the line they'll have to make the difficult decisions of where they can make up the difference in their budget, but as they don't want to cut staffing or local content. Days after speaking with Panhandle PBS, leaders from PBS stations across the state are in Amarillo for their annual statewide meeting. Politics Today's Blas Guerrero has more details about why this meeting is coming at a critical time.
Public broadcasting leaders across Texas are meeting in Amarillo this week for the annual Texas PBS Conference. It's the first time the event has been hosted by Panhandle PBS.
There are 10 PBS stations throughout the state of Texas, and we have leadership from each of those 10 stations here in Amarillo so that we can meet to discuss collaboration, collective fundraising efforts, and brainstorm on new innovative paths to go into the future.
The two-day meeting at Amarillo College brings discussions also centered around community partnerships and producing more original content in Texas.
We hope to come up with some new projects that will help us to fill some of those gaps that we mentioned, but also some ways that we can work together in new ways.
One of the major initiatives highlighted at the conference is Made in Texas, a new film series featuring locally created stories and independent independent productions from across the state.
Actually, 2 of the films that are part of this new series come from Amarillo and were created by Amarillo filmmakers. And the goal of the project is to really highlight the great work and creativity and storytelling that goes on in Texas.
With Congress recently voting to rescind more than $1 billion in federal funding, stations like Panhandle PBS are relying more than ever on community support.
You know, it's going to be piece by piece, the way that we raise revenue and the way that we make up the gap with the federal funds, where the federal funds used to exist. That's going to be, you know, $5 and $10 and $25 at a time from our very loyal supporters.
Officials hope this new film series will grow into a statewide platform for independent filmmakers, regional producers, and local stations to share content across the state. Officials say this convention, this says the conversations in Amarillo could help shape future strategies for public media across Texas. If you want to learn how to operate the electronics in your home, the Amarillo Public Library can help. Coming up, we learn more about the computer literacy classes they're hosting and when you could take a part in the next one. The Amarillo Public Library is offering computer classes and one-on-one assistance to individuals needing help navigating the World Wide Web. And now the library is expanding those courses. Politics Today's Kaylee Hanna has more about the classes.
The Amarillo Public Library offers various free technology classes at different locations, such as the Downtown Library and the Axe Community Center.
I've got one-on-one classes that I offer, that I have 30-minute long sessions that you can book either at the Warford Center, that's going to be from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Mondays, or at the Axe Community Center downtown on Van Buren Street. That is going to be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Wednesdays and Thursdays. I offer technology classes now at the Downtown Library. Those are going to be on Mondays at 5:30 p.m.
A few courses offered are email basics, scams and safety, and civic engagement. According to Scott, no devices are required to take the courses.
If it's a class about personal devices like phones or tablets, I have a classroom set of 20 iPads that I loan to you during the class. If it's a class about computers, at the Downtown Library, we're using the Harrington Library Consortium Computer Lab. And at other locations, I use a classroom set of 20 Chromebooks provided by the library.
Scott says the courses begin at a novice level.
You don't have to have ever seen a computer before, let alone know how to power one on. If you have your own phone or laptop that you would like to bring, go ahead and bring it. We can set up your settings for you while you're there, and you can learn how to navigate your own device as well as the ones that we provide.
In Amarillo, Kaylee Hanna, KMR Local 4 News.
In addition to the classes being offered to individuals, organizations can also sign up to have a digital navigator come to their community hub. A digital navigator can come to the organization's location up to 6 times per calendar year with up to 4 hours per visit. 56 people were honored today as the Texans Caring for Texans hosted their 31st annual state employee recognition ceremony.
Congratulations.
The ceremony was held at West Texas A&M University. Officials at the event tell us that the event was about recognizing the hard work the recipients have done over the years for their communities.
These employees that put in a lot of hours, they put in a lot of work and dedication to their jobs, and we want to make sure that doesn't go unnoticed and that they feel special and their actions are making a difference and making an impact and really helping the others in their community.
And brings fun.
Rich went on to say that this event is important because sometimes the work they do can go unrecognized, and it is good to show them that their dedication isn't unnoticed. Trains make their way through our area each and every day, and there is an organization wanting to make sure we're all safe if you have to be around them. We'll explain after this. The Texas Transportation Commission has awarded more than $3.6 million to the Texas Panhandle. The money comes from state and federal Transit Administration program funds. It will help support a variety of public transportation needs in rural and urbanized areas of the state. The Amarillo urbanization area has been awarded more than $377,000. Panhandle Community Services has been awarded just under $3.3 million in funds. For 50 years, Operation Lifesavers worked to reduce the number of collisions between trains and vehicles and pedestrians. Since then, it's seen an 81% reduction in these incidents and tragedies, but says there's still more work to do in raising awareness. Politics Today's Rochelle Hamilton Jr. has more.
Trains are a way of life here on the High Plains. Unfortunately, at times, tragedy strikes when a pedestrian or vehicle is struck by one of these steel behemoths.
Even in today's busy and distracted society, a person or vehicle is hit by a train in the United States every 3 hours.
Jessica Dvorsky is the executive director of Operation Lifesaver Texas, a nonprofit dedicated to rail safety and education across the state.
We're dedicated to stopping track tragedies through public awareness and education campaigns. We're a volunteer-driven organization. We have hundreds of volunteers all across the state.
According to the Operation Lifesaver website, last year in Texas alone, there were 283 rail crossing collisions with vehicles, resulting in 20 deaths and 81 injuries. In rail trespassing collisions with pedestrians, 132 casualties in Texas, resulting in 51 deaths and 81 injuries. Some safety tips to remember.
A locomotive weighs about 200 tons. So if they're going down the tracks, it can take up to 18 football fields of length for a locomotive to come to a complete stop. So although trains can stop, they cannot stop quickly. Trains never run on a schedule. They can run on any track in any direction at any time. Always obey the signs and signals, especially the blue and white ENS sign that's at every crossing. It's got a number that goes directly to the railroad.
Dvorsky says one aspect that often gets overlooked after a collision, the effects on the train crew.
Whether we're driving to work in a car or we're driving a train as our job, everybody wants to get home at the end of the day.
Dvorsky says rail crossing and trespasser collisions have decreased by 81% since Operation Lifesaver's conception 50 years ago. But until that number is zero, there's still work to do.
Now, Dvorsky says that trains overhang the tracks by several feet on either side. So while you may think that you are safe walking next to the tracks and not being on the tracks, you can still be struck even though you're not directly on the tracks. Stay off, stay away, and stay safe. For more information, including how you can become an Operation Lifesaver volunteer, we've got links for you on our website, myhighplains.com. We know how wildfire season can devastate a community and how a fire can spread fast and cause a lot of destruction. But there's an organization hoping to detect a wildfire easier. We'll hear about how it'll work and how and who helped fund the program. Vesper Energy, the developer of Hornet Solar, noted as one of the largest single-phase solar projects in the United States, recently donated $4,305 to the Tulia Volunteer Fire Department. So let's talk about what happened. That money donated to the Tulia Volunteer Fire Department was to purchase a utility trailer for their emergency side-by-side vehicle. Tulia Volunteer Fire Department Chief Jeremy Earl says that the trailer improves the fire department's ability to respond to potential fires by allowing easier access between solar panel rows and lets them navigate canyon terrain that they previously would not have been able to get to.
Give us access to areas that we previously wouldn't have been able to get to without calling in assistance from Forest Service and other agencies that have that capability. And then also we, on occasion, get called to Caprock Canyon State Park to go assist with a rescue. This rig will give us that option with the skid unit that's on it.
Now, Earl says the UTV is also EMS capable. A grant from the Amarillo Area Foundation is being used by the range to launch a special wildfire detection pilot program. The program is called Argos Shield. It's used weather sensors, remote monitors, and internet access to help farmers and ranchers track wildfire conditions. The pilot program is focusing developing the infrastructure and architecture for the later stages of the program.
Our biggest partner on the funding side has been Amarillo Area Foundation. They were very gracious in giving us $125,000 that we can leverage to help address this problem. That'll help support personnel, help support sensors themselves, and then some of the programming that will go on behind the scenes in order to help make this an achievable goal for us.
The funding from the Amarillo Area Foundation will also help support training for the landowners and partners participating in the pilot. You can stay up to the latest on our political news with us this week. We have continuing coverage on our website, myhighplains.com. I'm Jack Kessler. Thanks for watching Politics Today.